Hello, folks. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I bought a book today. It's called Herbal Companion. It's called The Homesteading of the Herbal Companion. And I wanted to read some on it. I think you guys will be interested in it. It says, before the advent of the modern medicine, herbalism was one of the only ways to treat your family and prevent illness. We used herbs to season foods that we prepared for our families. We used them during rituals and burials. We used them as offerings, teas, incense, and so much more. On a farm, you knew how to take care of yourself because the nearest doctor wasn't often well near. That would have been up there on the mountains where I was from, folks. You didn't get to go to the doctor all the time. But it says, on a farm, you knew how to take care of yourself because the nearest doctor wasn't often well near. Our great-grandparents cooked with herbs, farmed with herbs, and treated their illness with herbs. More than anything, they knew how to do this. Our ancestors would walk right out the back door and tell us what the plant or that plant was. They could tell us why dandelions were good for your liver and kidneys, not just for a pest weed. They could pick lavender from the garden and tell you how well it works for burns and wounds, and even to help them or their babies relax. They ate their meals and herbs and spices that had healing properties, things that we think are simply culinary additions in today's world. Back then, I'm turning the page, folks. I think I got the right page. Back then had great purpose when propagating in a natural way. In the garden, encouraged by sunshine and the hands of an enthusiast caretaker, in modern society, most of the herbs originate from the Middle East, Europe, and Mediterranean. Thankfully, many of the plants have adapted to our different climates across the world over the centuries, although some herbs like basil and cilantro still require special care. Homesteaders today are on a mission to get back to their roots and regain knowledge that was dwindled for generations. We cook with herbs that we've grown in our gardens. We make salves, soaps, and lotions for our bodies. We learn about the essential oils, which are herbs in one of their more potent forms. And we're even learning how to utilize the herbs with our livestock, in our pastures, and in our household cleaners. Herbalism history. This is all about herbs, folks, and what they can do. That's why I found this book to be very interesting. I thought you guys would be interested in it. Herbalism history. Until the Middle Ages, herbs were used by ancient cultures for a variety of purposes. When people started to assume that disease and illness were punishments from God, they tossed herbalism and natural healing aside. Thankfully, many monks opened the doors to those who wanted to continue to their herbalism educations and to those who were already knowledgeable. Many monasteries grew beautiful herb gardens in their courtyards. They offered their services and herbal remedies to those in need. Fast forward to the 18th and 19th century, when scientific discoveries on the cases of diseases and how they are transmitted were in the forefront of the modern medicine. We make major strides in sanitation and vaccinations to decrease communicable diseases. Unfortunately, the notion that all diseases could be completely eradicated led to decline in the practice of herbalism as preventative medicine. The disease herbalism and skilled natural medicine was rapid, and unfortunately, we are still paying for it today. Not even a year after the discovery of antibiotics, we became an antibiotic resistant people. And now we are quickly nearing the end of the antibiotic era. Antibiotics are used in our livestock feeds, injected in commercial meat animals for faster food production, slathered on wounds through antibiotic ointments, and overused and abused by many. This is why many people, especially homesteaders, are turning back to herbalism, not just to heal, but to live a more natural lifestyle. And that's not just for our bodies, but our animals and food as well. We are turning away from the overuse of antibiotics and other unnatural product additives, and we know that in order for this herbalism thing to work in a modern society, we must remaster the practice before we reach the post-antibiotic era. It's time to take back our homes, our health, our food, and our lives. And the question is, folks, it says, what are herbs? So first, the age-old question, what are herbs? Once you understand this, you'll be set, my friend. Then, and only then, can we get to the fun stuff. Believe it or not, there are many people who just think of herbs as beautiful plants to cook with, and while you can absolutely cook with them, and I'll show you how in this book, they are so much more useful in so many ways. Herbs are plants used for food, flavoring, medicine, and fragrances. They are used for their savory, medical, or aromatic properties. Herbs can be used in cooking, through aromatics, and through herbal medicine. They can also be used to provide everyday nutritional balance. Yep. I really believe that herbs would be better for people, folks. Okay. Now this one says herbal safety. This is the part where I tell you not to kill yourself with herbs. Seriously, read this section. Just do it, because I don't ever want to say I told you so. Whether you are using herbs in a texture of using them with essential oils, there really are some safety precautions you should take. It's not to deter you from using them, it's simply to encourage you to use the smarts you were blessed with. Also, there's no sense in using herbs if you aren't going to use them properly, because they plumb won't work. Let me first say that if you are just using herbs to cook, there aren't too many precautions you need to take unless you're unless you're allergic to the herbs of a certain plant family. There's a big difference between the amount of an herb you cook with and the amount of herb you'd take medicinally. It's essential to know the difference between medicinal and tonic herbs, which I'll explain in the following pages, and to know that you should use precaution if you have a health condition, are on medicines, are pregnant, or nursing before using them with your children or the elderly. Ultimately, I want to feel confident using herbs on your smallest child because I know that when you want something to work, you want to understand exactly how it works without fear of hurting your family or livestock. Medicinal versus tonic herbs. Whether you're using them for medicine or just to make a simple lotion, you need to know how to safely use herbs. Just as antibiotics, too much of a good thing it says too much of a good thing can be bad thing in herbalism. It's extremely important to know that there are two different classes of herbs when it comes to healing and use in everyday life. Medical no herbs and tonic herbs. Medicinal herbs are herbs that typically have a strong chemistry. Medicinal herbs are generally not to be consumed in a large dose unless directed by your physician and can be harmful to the body if not taken properly when using. Medicinal herbs, you typically take specific doses, sometimes large amounts for 2 weeks at a time, and then take a break before starting again. These herbs operate with our bodies in specific ways to treat specific ailments. They can be considered toxic if not taken properly or in too large of a dosage. However, the toxicity of most of these herbs occur with such high doses that we would never ever think of dosing ourselves at this level. Medicinal herbs can be used in smaller amounts in cooking. Take garlic, for example, like me. You probably cook, like me, you probably cook with it almost daily. But when taken in large doses, garlic can be powerful medicinal herb in the body and can be toxic when taken into excess. 20 grams or more a day. Don't worry, however, about using that much to Sunday night's homemade pasta dinner. Know what you need. A man once asked me why he was having heart flutterings while taking echinaceas to boost his immunity. When I asked him how long and how much he had been taking, I was shocked to find out that he took a high dosage supplement every single day because of a friend had told him to take it. He was having heart flutterings because his body didn't need the echinacea and because he'd been taking too much of it for an extended amount of time. It's important to know this when in the medicinal herb field. I just found this book to be interesting, folks, and I wanted to share it with you. And, like herbs are natural and everything, folks, but just like she said in here, that once you learn about them and things like that, there are some that's good for you, but just like with any other kind of medicine thing, too much of it's not good for you, folks, especially if you don't need it. Well, anywhere it says similarity herbs like comfrey, which many homesteaders grow in their garden, have been proven time and time again to cause toxicity, especially the liver. When ingested in large amounts, it's always best to research dosing from a reliable source before using your herbs. Remember, just because someone says it's true doesn't mean that it is. Slow and steady wins the race, and taking time to know your stuff really pays off in the end. Examples of medicinal herbs are echinacea, garlic, comfrey, arnica, never to be ingested, and holy basil. Tonic herbs. Tonic herbs are herbs that are for general usage and can be consumed in large amounts without fear of toxicity. However, I still caution people not to consume them in extra large doses. They have a generalized health effect on many areas of the body or the whole body in general, rather than targeting a specific ailment like medicinal herbs do, low in toxicity but high in benefits. These herbs are given for general ailments or for overall health, and are also great for cooking and regular consumption. Some examples of tonic herbs are parsley, cilantro, and ginger. No matter what type of herb you use, whether medicinal or tonic, all herbs in their natural state have the ability to cause irritation if not taken properly, or if you have an allergy to them. With that said, you're more than likely been using herbs like thyme, basil, garlic, turmeric, and rosemary in your cooking for years. If these haven't bothered you, keep using them. It is actual extraction in tea. Tincture, salve, or syrup that may cause adverse reactions. Herbs can be used to make hot water, infusions, or teas. Tincture, syrup, poultices, mercurates, infused oils, salves, creams, powders, or essential oils. The list goes on in this book. You'll learn about several of these forms and how and when to use them. Most of the parts of an herb, such as flowers, leaves, seeds, and roots, can be used, but they have different benefits. For example, the root of an echinacea plant is typically harvested and turned into tincture for a more powerful medicinal option. But the leaves can be harvested, dried, and given to livestock or crushed into teas for a lesser medicinal effect. How the medicinal property of the herb is extracted will determine your dosage and what you'll use for it. Safe dosages. It's important to know that the difference between what's right for daily intake and medicinal intake doses, this isn't something you'll ever know of your head unless you use a herb often. If an herb isn't working medicinally for you, you might have the dosage too low, and you should consult a certified herbalist or holistic doctor, or up your dosage in extreme small increments. Dosing as a preventative medicine measure versus dosing as a medicinal healing agent are two completely different things, and you'll learn about that in just a moment. The key to dosage is to remember that there's balancing act between too little, too much, and just the right amount. Knowing the exact amount, and that's in. But I thought you guys might enjoy this, folks, and we'll keep reading out of this book. And here it is, folks. And there's the picture of the herbs on it, too. It's about natural herbs and what the benefits of them are. And tells you what's good for you and what ain't, you know. Just like she said, garlic, if you over consume garlic, it might not be so good for you, you know, if you take it in high dosages. And see, there's the front of the book, folks. The herbs that's on the front of the book. We'll keep reading in this. But anyway, I thought you guys would enjoy that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching and have a good night. Bye-bye, folks.